time paradoxes, the laws of physics, pop culture, and millennia-old myths, time travel has always been one of humanity's greatest fascinations. Even today, the subject still captures the imagination everywhere. But here's the real question. Do we actually have proof of time travelers? Can modern science confirm such a thing? What about those strange photos and videos online claiming to reveal people caught out of time? Let's dive into this journey together and explore the science, the conspiracies, and the legends behind it all. But first, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That helps us to keep bringing you the best theories from the internet. From Back to the Future, Doctor Who, Looper, The Time Machine, Lake House, to Terminator and more, pop culture thrives on stories of temporal adventures. We love it. I love it. And I'm pretty sure you've wondered at least once, could this ever be real? Imagine if we could actually buy a ticket and take a trip to ancient Rome. It sounds insane, but there are researchers today seriously trying to understand if traveling through time could be possible. Meanwhile, the internet is full of supposed proofs of time travelers, photos, videos, and mysterious artifacts that spark heated debates. Are they hoaxes, misunderstandings, or something else? Before science gives us the final word, conspiracy theories are irresistible. For example, I recently came across a story that caught my attention: the scientist in the pyramid. The tale goes like this. In 1923, archaeologists uncovered a sealed tomb in Egypt. Inside, they allegedly found a photograph dated 1987, showing a man in modern clothes holding a camera, standing right in front of that very same tomb. The strange part? The tomb had been sealed for centuries. How could a picture from decades in the future end up inside? The story claims this man was later identified as Elon Hugg, a scientist who mysteriously vanished while working on something called Project Chronos. According to the legend, this was a top-secret government experiment aimed at unlocking the mysteries of time itself. On the back of the photograph was a cryptic handwritten note. I tried to stop it, but the loop is inevitable. The story of the so-called pyramid scientist is one of the most chilling time travel legends circulating online. According to those who tell it, after the photo was discovered, researchers became intrigued not only by the image itself, but also by the mysterious figure it portrayed. Who was this man? Why did he appear to be in the future, yet connected to a tomb sealed in the distant past? Soon, rumors began to circulate that his name was Elon Hugg, a physicist allegedly involved in an experimental program known as Project Chronos. This supposed project, the story goes, was a covert government initiative during the late 20th century, focused on manipulating space-time. Whistleblowers claim Hugg was one of the lead scientists, but in 1987 he vanished without a trace. His disappearance was never explained. No body, no farewell, nothing. It was as if he simply stepped out of existence. When the photograph from the tomb surfaced, conspiracy theorists immediately linked it to his sudden vanishing. The photograph itself sparked endless debates. Some experts argued it could have been a hoax, an image planted long after the tomb was opened. Others insisted the age of the photo and the note on its back proved it was authentic. And then there's the unsettling message scrawled behind it. I tried to stop it, but the loop is inevitable. Those words suggest that Hugg might have foreseen or even experienced time repeating in some endless cycle. For believers, the case of Elon Hugg stands as one of the strongest pieces of evidence for time travel. For skeptics, it's nothing more than a clever urban legend. But whether truth or fiction, the story keeps surfacing again and again, fueling discussions about whether someone, somewhere, has already broken the barriers of time. One of the most famous cases circulating online is known as the time-traveling hipster. It all began when a black and white photograph from 1941 was rediscovered in the archives of a small museum in Canada. The image shows a large crowd gathered for the reopening of a bridge after renovations. At first glance, it seems like a typical 1940s scene: men in suits, women in elegant dresses, and everyone dressed in the fashion of the time. But standing among the crowd is a man who looks completely out of place. Unlike the others, he appears to be wearing a modern hoodie, a t-shirt with a printed logo, and sunglasses that resemble styles not seen until decades later. Even stranger, he holds what looks like a small portable camera, almost identical to the compact models that only became popular in the late 20th century. The contrast between him and the rest of the crowd is so stark that the internet quickly exploded with theories. Was this proof of a time traveler caught on camera? Skeptics offered alternative explanations. Some argued that hooded sweaters actually existed in the 1930s, though rarely worn. Others suggested the modern sunglasses might have been custom-made at the time, while the supposed portable camera could instead have been an early, bulky photographic device. Still, none of these arguments fully convinced everyone. For many, the hipster photo remains an eerie anomaly, a glimpse of someone who shouldn't be there. Could it be that this man really slipped through time and ended up in 1941 Canada? Or is it just another coincidence? A case of unusual clothing and perspective making someone appear far too modern. Regardless of the truth, the time-traveling hipster has become an internet legend, often cited as one of the clearest pieces of evidence that maybe, just maybe, travelers from the future walk among us. Among all supposed time travelers, none has caused as much stir as John Titor. His story began in the early 2000s, when a user with that name started posting in online forums. Claiming to be a soldier from the year 2036, Titor said he had been sent back to the year 1975 to retrieve an old IBM 5100 computer, allegedly because it contained hidden functions that future technologies depended on. On his way back, he made a stopover in the year 2000, where he began sharing his experiences with curious internet users. What made Titor's case remarkable was the level of detail in his posts. He described the workings of his time machine, supposedly installed in a Chevrolet Corvette, complete with technical diagrams and scientific explanations. According to him, the device relied on miniature black holes and gravitational fields to bend space-time. While many dismissed these explanations as pure science fiction, others were impressed by how consistent and complex his descriptions were. Even more chilling were his predictions. Titor warned of political and social instability in the United States, a coming civil conflict, and global tensions that would escalate in the years ahead. While not all of his forecasts came true, some people later pointed to rising polarization and global crises as partial confirmations of his warnings. By 2001, John Titor suddenly stopped posting, vanishing from the internet as mysteriously as he had appeared. To this day, no one has been able to prove his identity or uncover who was behind the elaborate story. Was he a clever hoaxer with strong knowledge of physics and computing? Or was he truly a soldier from the future, stranded in our timeline for a brief moment? Regardless of the truth, John Titor's legend has endured, inspiring books, documentaries, and countless debates. To many, he remains the most famous time traveler in internet history. In 2003, newspapers around the world reported the strange case of Andrew Carlssin, a man who seemed to appear out of nowhere and amass a fortune almost overnight. According to the story, Carlssin started with just $800 and, through a series of stock market trades, turned it into more than $350 million in a matter of weeks. His success was so uncanny that authorities quickly grew suspicious. How could anyone predict the market with such precision, especially during such turbulent times? When Carlssin was eventually arrested and interrogated, his explanation was beyond bizarre. He claimed he wasn't an insider trader or a criminal at all. He was a time traveler from the year 2256. According to his alleged confession, he had used his knowledge of future events to make flawless investments. He even offered to share information about upcoming disasters, cures for diseases, and hidden secrets if the authorities would release him. Of course, skeptics immediately dismissed the story as absurd. Some believed Carlssin was just a con artist with incredible luck. Others argued the whole story originated as a satirical piece in a tabloid, later taken out of context and spread as fact. Yet the legend only grew, fueled by the mystery of what happened to him afterward. Reports claim that after posting bail, Carlssin vanished without a trace. No record of him exists prior to the 2000s, and no one has been able to verify his background. For believers in time travel, this disappearance was the ultimate proof. Once exposed, Carlssin simply returned to his own era, escaping the consequences of meddling with the past. Whether fact or fiction, The story of Andrew Carlssin continues to circulate as one of the strangest tales of modern folklore, another case where the line between myth and possibility becomes blurred. One of the most famous and unsettling alleged cases of time travel dates back to 1951 in New York City. Late one night, a man was seen wandering aimlessly in Times Square. Witnesses described him as strangely dressed, wearing outdated 19th century clothing and looking visibly confused. Before anyone could approach him, he was struck by a car and killed instantly. When authorities examined the man's belongings, the mystery deepened. In his pockets, they found items that made no sense for the time: old coins that were no longer in circulation, business cards with an address that didn't exist anymore, and a letter dated 1876. Even stranger, all of these objects appeared to be in mint condition, as if they had never aged. The man was identified as Rudolph Fentz, but when police searched records, they discovered that someone by that exact name had disappeared without a trace in 1876, roughly 75 years earlier. According to the reports, Fentz had gone for an evening walk and never returned. The resemblance between the two was uncanny, suggesting that the man who died in 1951 was the very same Rudolph Fentz who vanished decades before. Skeptics later argued that the entire tale was nothing more than an urban legend, tracing its origins to a short story published in the 1950s. However, others insist that the story was based on genuine police files and real testimony. To this day, debates rage over whether Rudolph Fentz was merely a fictional character who escaped the pages of literature, or if he truly was a man who accidentally slipped through time. Whether real or invented, the case of Rudolph Fentz remains one of the most chilling and enduring time travel stories, an example of how a single mystery can blur the lines between history, legend, and the impossible. In 2010, filmmaker George Clark uploaded a video to YouTube that quickly went viral. While reviewing extra material from the 1928 Charlie Chaplin film The Circus, Clark noticed something strange in a behind-the-scenes clip. The footage showed a woman walking across the screen, seemingly holding a small object close to her ear. Just like someone talking on a modern cell phone, the short clip sparked an explosion of theories. Some viewers believed it was undeniable proof of time travel, arguing that there was no other reasonable explanation. After all, cell phones didn't exist until decades later, and the woman's hand gestures looked strikingly similar to how we use them today. Others pointed out that she seemed to be speaking, as though in conversation with someone on the other end of a call. Skeptics, however, rushed to provide alternative explanations. Some suggested the woman might have been using a portable hearing aid, a technology that did exist in the 1920s, though it was bulky and not widely available. Others claimed she was simply shielding her face from the bright film lights or even talking to herself. Still, the uncanny resemblance to a modern-day cell phone user was hard to ignore. The footage spread rapidly online, reigniting age-old questions. If time travel were possible, could small slips like this be caught on camera? Could time travelers be hiding in plain sight, blending into history unnoticed, except for rare moments when they're accidentally recorded? More than a decade later, the Chaplin time traveler clip continues to fascinate and divide audiences. Whether it was a trick of perception, a forgotten piece of old technology, or genuine evidence of someone out of place in time, it remains one of the most debated and mysterious snippets of film ever discovered. Another peculiar example of alleged time travel comes from the world of sports. Footage from a Mike Tyson boxing match in the early 1990s revealed something strange in the audience. A person filming the event with what appeared to be a modern smartphone, complete with a small light or flash near the lens. At first glance, it seemed impossible. Smartphones with cameras wouldn't exist for another 2 decades, and the technology required to capture and transmit images was nowhere near ready at the time. Yet, there it was on film, clearly visible to anyone who looked closely. The anomaly sparked intense debate online. Some suggested that the device could have been an unusual camcorder, as portable cameras did exist, though they were bulky and didn't resemble the sleek smartphones we know today. Others were convinced this was a genuine slip of a time traveler, someone from the future witnessing a historical sporting event firsthand. The video spread quickly, becoming one of the most cited modern examples of alleged time travel caught on tape. It fueled countless online discussions about whether it was possible for someone from the future to visit the past without being noticed. and whether minor anachronisms like this could reveal their presence. From a scientific perspective, it's improbable. Modern smartphones rely on cellular networks, satellites, and infrastructure that didn't exist in the 1990s. Even if a traveler had a device from the future, it wouldn't have worked. Yet the curiosity remains. If time travel were possible, would these anomalies be all we could ever see? Or could travelers hide completely, leaving no trace? The Tyson fight footage serves as a modern reminder that, whether real or imagined, the concept of time travel continues to capture human imagination, challenging us to question the limits of reality and the potential secrets hidden in history's mundane moments. Now that we've explored legends and strange sightings, let's dive into the science of time travel. The question is, could it ever be possible according to the laws of physics? Surprisingly, the answer isn't entirely no. The foundation lies in Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. Unlike Newton, who viewed time as a fixed, universal line, Einstein showed that time is relative. It can speed up or slow down depending on gravity and velocity. Time is treated as a fourth dimension, inseparable from space, creating what scientists call space-time. Imagine space-time as a stretchable fabric like a trampoline. Every mass, planets, stars, black holes, presses down on this fabric, creating curves. This curvature is what we experience as gravity. The heavier the object, the more it warps space-time, and the slower time moves near it. This phenomenon is called gravitational time dilation. Movies like Interstellar illustrate this perfectly. On the planet near the black hole Gargantua, time moved far more slowly than on Earth. Hours on the planet equated to decades on Earth. Scientists have measured similar effects on a tiny scale using atomic clocks at different altitudes. While differences on Earth are minuscule, they prove that time isn't absolute. It's flexible. Other theories expand this idea. Cosmic strings, hypothetical one-dimensional defects in space-time, could, if moving near the speed of light, warp space-time enough to create a time loop, theoretically allowing travel to the past. Similarly, extreme environments near rotating black holes might produce closed time-like curves, paths that loop back in time. In short, modern physics suggests that while traveling to the future is theoretically achievable by manipulating gravity and speed, visiting the past remains far more speculative. The universe allows tiny glimpses, but turning them into practical travel is still beyond current technology. One of the most famous voices in modern physics, Stephen Hawking, had a skeptical but intriguing perspective on time travel. In 2009, he even staged a playful experiment, a time traveler party at Cambridge University. Hawking didn't send invitations beforehand, reasoning that if time travel were possible, someone could attend the party after it had already ended. No one showed up, reinforcing his playful skepticism that time travel to the past wasn't occurring, at least in our current timeline. Despite Hawking's caution, theoretical physics continues to explore the possibilities. J. Richard Gott, a physicist from Princeton, proposed that cosmic strings, extremely thin and dense remnants from the early universe, could warp space-time enough to create time loops. If two strings moved near the speed of light in opposite directions, they could, in theory, bend space-time to allow a traveler to return to the past. Similarly, studies on closed time-like curves, predicted by general relativity, suggest that near extreme conditions, such as rotating black holes, space-time could loop back on itself. In these loops, events would self-correct, avoiding paradoxes like killing your own grandfather. The universe, in this theory, maintains causal consistency, ensuring that any alterations to the past ultimately resolve without contradictions. For now, though, these remain theoretical possibilities. Time travel to the future can happen in small increments via gravitational or velocity effects, already measurable with atomic clocks. Travel to the past, however, remains firmly in the realm of speculation. Yet the idea continues to captivate both scientists and dreamers alike. From ancient myths to modern experiments, humanity's fascination with time travel persists. Whether through legends, art, or cutting-edge physics, we continue asking the same questions. Could someone from the future already be among us? Might they have left subtle traces in history? The quest to understand time itself blends imagination, philosophy, and science. proving that while we may not yet bend time at will, our curiosity and ingenuity will continue to push the boundaries of possibility. What about you? What do you think about time travel? I know you're dying to share it. So, do it in the comments below. And please, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.